Majora's Mask is one of the darker games in the Legend of Zelda series. Throughout the game, there is a real feeling of despair amongst many of the characters as they seem doomed to face the end of the world with no way to prevent it. Even when Termina is saved, there is no timeline that Link can create in which each of the characters gets their happy ending due to the fact that some in-game events are exclusive of others. In this video, I want to look at what I think are some of the more sad moments we come across in the game. Number 5. The Introduction Sequence. The game starts with Link being knocked off Epona and then having the Ocarina of Time stolen by Skull Kid. After chasing Skull Kid through the woods and finding out that he ditched Epona, Link is transformed into a Deku Scrub. This is a very significant moment in the game as it sets up the first cycle and introduction to Termina, and, following on from the events of Ocarina of Time, it's the first time where Link appears completely helpless. This is reflected in his body language and also in some of the dialogue. Number 4. The Goron Elder. Following Darmani's death heading into the blizzard at Snowhead, the Goron Elder also heads towards the temple to try and do something about the unending winter the area has been plunged into. It's clear that he is simply not up to the task and becomes frozen in ice and snow on his hopeless quest. Even by the end of the third day, the Elder will not make it beyond the mountain village. The Elder's son is very distressed at this time and is crying out for his father to return, while the Elder himself seems to be feeling both desperation and regret. Number 3. Kafei and Anju. Reuniting Kafei and Anju is the most complex side quest in the game, with several outcomes depending on which tasks the player completes. If the player does not meet with Anju on the first night, then she will try to visit Kafei on day 2, where she breaks down while waiting at the laundry pool. In this case, she will be convinced by her mother to leave town for the ranch on the third night, which also happens if the player fails to deliver the Pendant of Memories to her on time. She then appears to feel regretful over making this decision. If Kafei obtains the Sun's Mask in these timelines, then he will show up to the Stockpot Inn on the final night to find that Anju has not waited for him. On the other hand, Anju can also be left waiting by herself if Kafei fails to see Sakon in the Curiosity Shop or is unable to recover the Sun's Mask from Sakon's hideout. If Kafei does fail this quest, he will then be trapped inside with no way to leave. Number 2. Darmani and Macau. The player first meets Darmani's ghost after collecting the Lens of Truth at the Lone Peak Shrine. Darmani died when he fell after being caught in the blizzard at Snowhead. His spirit now lingers around Goron Village, filled with despair as he can only watch while his people succumb to the worsening conditions. Darmani was obviously revered amongst the Gorons, often being referred to as a hero and being celebrated upon completion of Snowhead Temple. It's also apparent that the Elder had planned to pass on the role of patriarch in the Goron community to Darmani. Macau, on the other hand, is still barely alive upon meeting him at Great Bay Coast. Having set out to recover Lulu's stolen eggs, he was apparently attacked by the pirates and left to die. Unfortunately, the player is unable to save Macau, who sadly passes away after saying one of the most touching lines in the game. Macau was also very popular with his people, being part of a well-known band and also described as being descended from Zoran heroes. He had a close friendship with Lulu, the singer of the Zora band. In addition to their deaths, what's sad about these characters is the fact that Link can pass himself off as them when using the Goron and Zora masks. This means that many characters will believe them to still be alive, which has to leave you wondering about the impact this will have after Termina has been saved and Link leaves the land at the end of the game. Finally, it's time for number 1. Sometimes people do bad things. Sometimes those things can help someone to realize the flaws in their character and ultimately grow as a person. But can someone who commits an evil deed without feeling remorse ever be a good person? I will leave that for you to think about.